I'm Burt Goldman, creator of quantum jumping, and you are welcome to my home. If there's an infinity of dimensions, then one of those dimensions, I'm the king of England, the king of the world. I'm the president of the United States. I'm also homeless. Whatever you can imagine is in an infinity of dimensions. So I've always used myself kind of as a guinea pig, as a test pilot. And how is this going to work? Well, I thought I have a twin self who is everything. I don't want to be king of the world. I don't want to be a great violinist. I did want to be, however, a photographer. Why a photographer? I don't know, I just picked photography. And so the first time I took a jump was kind of a shock to me. I was going into another dimension, which turned out to be another universe, where I was already a fantastically successful photographer. And this is exactly what happened. My intention was to reach this doppelganger of mine. And now I'm sitting with my eyes closed, and all of a sudden, I imagine that I'm seeing an old-fashioned camera with a hood, with a man over it with a hood. And it's me. I know it's me because that was my intention. And I see this guy with his hood. I couldn't see his face because he had this hood over him. And I said, I want to be a great photographer. And I hear, take a lot of pictures. And I said, what? And he says, take a lot of pictures. I said, what do you mean, take a lot of pictures? I don't need you for that. And he goes like this. He like waves me away. And I said, oh, this is crazy. But I've got to see it through. So I buy a camera. This is long before digital. And some film, and I took a lot of pictures. And I have them developed, and I lay them out, and I got a lot of pictures. And none of them are any good. Well, I go back. Well, if it doesn't work, I'm going to try it again. So I go back. I says, hey, I took a lot of pictures, but it didn't work. And the guy says, plant yourself. And I says, what? He says, plant yourself. I said, what do you mean, plant yourself? And again, I get this. Go away. Now what? Take a lot of pictures and plant yourself. So I says, this is crazy. I'm letting it go. In the meantime, I bought a nice camera. And I'm in San Diego, and I figure I'm going to go to the marina because they got to get a nice picture of the boats. So I go, and I'm walking around on some rocks, and the rocks are slippery. And so that I won't slip, I slam my feet down to get a better purchase. And all of a sudden, it comes to me, gee, I'm planting myself. I wonder if that's what was meant. So now I'm planting myself, and now I'm going to take a lot of pictures. Now, if you're planting yourself in one spot and you're taking a lot of pictures, you are the tripod. So I'm standing in one spot, and I'm going like this. I'm taking like 100 pictures. And I have them developed, and I want to see if I got a good one. In the pictures, and I'm laying them all on the bed, seeing which is the best one. But something is happening. I'm not looking at 105 pictures. I'm looking at one picture. It was like a jigsaw puzzle. It was one, and the picture was just unbelievable. Now here is the picture. You can actually see the picture right here. And that's the picture, the actual picture that I took in San Diego. And I started thinking, did I really get information from somebody in another dimension? Let me try it with something else. I had never painted before. And if you would ask me to paint a picture of a person, I would draw a circle and dots for the eyes, you know, a stick figure. I had no talent at all for painting. But I visited my art self. Now, I don't want information from my art self because what is he going to tell me? With photography, it was information that I could use. But what in the world could an artist tell me? Nothing. But I figured I got to work this out because if it works, it could be an important process for everyone. It could be my contribution to the world. Talk about personal development. Nothing would be better than being able to reach into a successful self and bringing back that self's talent. This is the latest thing for me. Now, as you look around and see these paintings, if you're in this room here, you'd almost have to be in awe, especially when you realize that I just started painting recently. The first time I picked up a paintbrush, I was 78 years old. I had no idea I could paint. And so in quantum jumping, we have a technique for getting into the rhythm of the person that you want to be. And when I started to paint, I wanted the rhythm of that me, and I did. When I started to paint, it was like I suddenly got hooked on a drug. I painted 110 canvases in 6 months. And I started painting and developed my own style until now my work is unique. And wonder of wonders, my art sells. I'm a voracious reader. I don't remember not being able to read. I think I started reading when I was 4 or 5. It's just something that came to me very easily. And I figured out once that I've read over 3,000 books, but that was quite a while ago. It's probably up to 4, or who knows, maybe 5,000 now. And one day I decided, what the heck, why don't I write my own books? And at the time I was involved with Silva, and so I decided to write a book about Silva, and that was Better and Better. Good title, I thought. Then I wrote another Silva book and another, and Silva Mental Dynamics became a big hit, and I think it went into 11 or 12 different languages. And then one day I said, why don't I write something for myself, something that I'm going to really enjoy? And that's when Cyclo came about. Cyclo is a historical novel about a man who is 2,500 years old, but it makes sense. History part of it is accurate. I had a lot of fun with that one. When I'm not painting and I'm not swimming, the greatest joy in my life is writing. And now we're on our way to the piano. Only thing is, I never learned how to play the piano. But through the magic of quantum jumping, somehow the fingers just fall into the right spot, and people seem to enjoy what I do. Almost sounds like I know what I'm doing. That came out of a quantum jump. I hear about people who can't find anything to do, and when they're 60 and 70 years old, they're looking forward to retirement. Well, obviously, I don't look forward to retirement. Retirement, for me, is like hitting myself in the head with a hammer. That's the last thing in the world that I want to do. I want to be creative every day. Every day, I wake up with this one thought in mind. How can I be more creative today?
So here at Mind Valley, we're perhaps the world's most innovative seller of meditation products. And I've known Burt for almost a decade now because he used to be a teacher at the Silva Method, which is this amazing personal growth program. We've been publishing them for 10 years. But while working for the Silva Method, Burt was ranked their #1 instructor. And this is out of thousands of instructors all around the world. And I remember it was about 2007. I was in Anaheim. It was a Silva Method seminar. I was in the audience, and Burt was there speaking. And I saw him do some crazy cool stuff. He specifically was healing a woman with a scarf over shoulder injury. And So we became friends back then. I was really impressed with him. And way back in 2005, he approached me with this new modality he was teaching called quantum jumping, and asked us if we would consider publishing him and helping it get out to the world. And we said no, because it sounded way too weird. 3 years later, we finally said yes, when I actually decided to dive in, take a look at it, because I was skeptical at first. Then I dived in, took a look at it, started playing around with it and practicing it. And I found out how amazing it was. See, I'm an agnostic when it comes to the idea of multiple universes or things of that sort. I don't believe in them. And so when Burt talks about multiple universes and doppelgangers, I don't know if I necessarily believe it. So I've now started to think of that, though, as a metaphor, because when I actually try quantum jumping, the results are amazing. I remember touring Burt's house to learn more about the man when we were just starting to publish quantum jumping, and I was in awe at the huge collection of art and books and paintings and creative stuff that he had lying all around the house. In fact, 3 of his paintings now grace our office here at Mind Valley HQ. So we added quantum jumping to our catalog in 2009. It rapidly became our best-selling product, and it grew and grew and grew. Now, Burt has some 80,000 fans on Facebook. He's probably the only 80-year-old with 80,000 plus fans on Facebook. And 40,000 students have now taken up quantum jumping. We did a seminar. We did a seminar with Burt in San Diego. The results, the ratings were through the roof. That man is amazing on stage, even in his 80s.
And when we first started with quantum jumping, much to my surprise, we sold like 15 of them right off the bat in a day. I said, wow, that's amazing. And a month later, there were like 200 people who had not only purchased it, but had given us glowing reports. When we hit 5,000 sales in a month, I started thinking, what is going on here? Now, what is really shocking to me, that right now, and we're just barely scratching the surface, we have 38,000 students of quantum jumping. And they're all getting some benefit. I mean, we have reports of almost miraculous things that are happening, that are taking place. It doesn't work for everybody. Nothing works for everybody. I've always told people there are no magic wands. There's no such thing as a magic wand. And I don't like people that promise that do this and boom, your life will change. Do this and your life might change. But for the minimal investment, you know, the investment in quantum jumping, right now, the way prices are, it's the price of a good dinner for 2. And here's something that could very well change your life for the better. Now, you know, not everybody wants to be an artist. I'm only using art as a metaphor. What I'm saying is, if I can become an artist, what can you become?
So our whole company exists to spread ideas, powerful, enlightened ideas to the world. And the biggest field we've had an impact in is meditation. We've trained about 3 million people on meditation through our various websites. And meditation rocks. And almost every day you read new scientific benefits about meditation. But one of the things people don't understand is that when you meditate, there's an additional tool you can bring in to just magnify those results. And that tool is creative visualization. And a lot of research has shown that creative visualization can be used for everything from healing. Some doctors recommend it. They call it imagery therapy. It can be used to improve confidence, change beliefs, almost such as self-hypnosis. Another more mysterious thing about it is the belief that through creative visualization, we can almost bend reality and create synchronicities, coincidences, opportunities in the world that seem to manifest out of nowhere. So I'm a big believer in using creative visualization combined with meditation. And the most powerful creative visualization technique I've come across thus far is maybe quantum jumping. It supercharges creative visualization. It's weird, it's funky, it's cool, and it tends to create this phenomenal effect. It's sort of like the Rolls-Royce of creative visualization.
And recently, I had 3 people over my house. And the reason they had them over the house, they had some very interesting stories. And I like to hear these stories, not that I have a portfolio of them, because there's just too many. When I used to start stacking testimonials, I wound up at a stack so high I couldn't read them all. And so occasionally I'll pull 2 or 3 out of a stack and call people and talk to them. In this case, I had 3 of them over my house, and I wanted to see how much it had helped them. And I got 3 very, very interesting stories. Welcome. Hi.
May I hug you?
Yeah, of course.
Hi, I'm Michael Steinberg from Massachusetts. I'm here visiting Burt Goldman today. I'm looking forward to this. He's been a part of a big transformation in the last couple of years since my back surgery, and it was very important to learn about quantum jumping and finding that doppelganger so I could start to heal myself.
Quantum jumping has been great for work and for personal and all sorts of reasons, so I'm really excited to be seeing Burt.
Hi, I'm Gwen Leopard. I use it with my clients. It is the most effective technique that I have found, and I'm over the moon to be here. It's fabulous.
So across the board, whatever you want to use it for, it is infinite. You can use it for anything that you have. If you can hold the intention before you start and sort of be clear about what you want to do, then you can, sky's the limit. Beyond the sky's the limit. Yeah.
So I clicked on the link and downloaded and started getting daily, I think it was daily emails from you. Mm-hmm. And I actually read them, because some people get their stuff and it just doesn't resonate, but yours did. And when I got the audio that said, have your first quantum jump led, and so I listened to it and I went, oh, well, this is just hypnosis. What's it going to hurt? So I'll go ahead and do this. And it's just so much more than
hypnosis. It was beyond hypnosis.
It's way beyond hypnosis. I mean, seriously, I've read Richard Bach's work. I've read The Princes of Amber, Roger Zelensky. So I already had a feel that, there's other dimensions. Of course, I love French. And, so I already had a feel that was possible. Mm-hmm. And it's way more than possible.
I had access to so much possibility. I was like a kid in a candy shop after that. Like, what else can I get access to? What else can I do? So it was,
It was easy.
Thrilling. It was thrilling, yeah. And yeah.
Was it easy?
It was very easy. Yeah. Very accessible. And that's because of you, I think for a lot of people, Burt, that there's a trust that and I think there's a quality in your voice. I honestly think that we were talking about that earlier, that there's a quality in your voice that you had mentioned. The way, the pitch, everything, that it earns our trust very quickly. And I mean, I think that's a blessing for us, certainly.
But the number one thing that people are commenting on is their health. Their health seems to be improving, and people who are in pain, they'll jump to a doppelganger who has gotten rid of the pain or has no pain, and their pain leaves immediately. We've had people who had illnesses, who have apparent. Now, this is not a cure-all, and I'm the last person in the world that says it is. However, what I tell people, if they ask, will it work for this illness? Will it work for that? I tell them, it can't hurt, and it may help, so why not use it?
After my back surgery, I had some time to spend as I was healing, and I wasn't moving too much, so I had the laptop by me, and part of the healing process, I knew I had to find on my own. The medical doctor, the neurosurgeon saved my life, but there was an additional part that I needed, and that was the healing, and I didn't know where to go for it. Mm-hmm. And I had to investigate, and through surfing, I came upon your site, and the first thing I said, well, this is a cute man. I'm going to read more.
You hear that, baby? I'm a cute guy.
Cute man.
And it was something quantum jumping. I mean, that alone got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Had you put doppelganger, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
That was maybe a food item. I don't know, but but this sounded very interesting, and I read everything on that site, and then I thought, well, this sounds right. I kind of tuned into myself, and I said, I think if I follow through on this, I will have that healing step that I need. So, and that's when I signed up for your CDs and started listening to them. I was paralyzed from the waist down, and I had to learn to walk again.
Quantum jumping helped you to walk again.
Absolutely.
I've had results across the board because now I'm kind of, I use it for everything. I'll get something sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's a metaphor, sometimes it's a symbol. It's not always a word, but sometimes it's an action, that'll help me. So I think I was studying it and I was wondering, well, is this subconscious? Is this unconscious? Is this a higher consciousness? And I'm convinced that it's all three.
It is. I was about to say it's all those
it's all
things.
three. That
Yeah.
you're really connecting with so much energy within yourself and outside of yourself, and all of it is benevolent energy.
We've had people who have used quantum jumping for things that I never conceived, because this is a process that can be used for literally anything. I don't care what it is. If you have a problem, to be in the most general sense, if anyone has a problem, whatever that problem is, and they can see no way out, quantum jumping will allow them a way out. Because with quantum jumping, they know that in another universe, in an infinity of dimensions, there is a person who has discovered a way out of their dilemma. And that alone will give them the motivation to get out of the spot that they're in.
So here's how I explain it to people, right? People who are maybe a bit more skeptical of what they call woo-woo stuff. So we all know that your inner beliefs, your inner identity shapes your outside world. Ask anyone who's made it in life. The world's greatest artists, entrepreneurs, accomplished musicians. It's about their belief system. And research on this goes way back. In the 1980s, people like Maxwell Maltz were writing books on psychocybernetics, the idea of how your inner identity shapes your outer you. Creative visualization, when combined with meditation, helps you recreate that inner identity. But here's the difference between quantum jumping and regular creative visualization. So you use creative visualization to see yourself with that gorgeous new company you want to build, or that work of art that you want to create, or that place you want to travel to. And that's one step. But when done that way, you're looking at an exterior outcome. You forget that a big aspect of creative visualization is also altering and transforming the inner you. In other words, you got to ask yourself, not just what is that company I want to build, but who do I have to be that rock star entrepreneur? Who do I have to be able to afford that life of travel? Who do I have to be to create those works of art? So you got to ask yourself, not just what do I want, but who do I have to be to become the person to get what I want? That's what makes quantum jumping cool, because through the exercise that Burt teaches you, you are coming face to face with versions of yourself who have accomplished those big things. And he teaches you techniques to absorb their identity, absorb that belief system, integrate it with your own. So you aren't just using creative visualization to attempt to attain a goal. You're using creative visualization to shift your own inner identity to become a new person, the person who you would have to be to accomplish that goal. You shift your outer world, you shift your inner world. The results have been amazing.
Nothing takes place until you take an action, until you take one foot and put it in another. The longest journey, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, the longest journey begins with the first step. Until you take that first step, you're not going anywhere. The first step is quantum jumping. It'll take you to places you can only dream of. Take that step.